After taking 2 of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Rockies homestand continues interleague play. That's right. It's early this year as it was a year ago. The Chicago White Sox come a-calling over the next 3 days to take on Colorado. First time the White Sox have been in Denver since 2011. And with that, we welcome you upstairs. Good evening, everybody. With my partner, Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Glad, as always, that you are with us. The Rockies made a move today, and it's not a surprise. Boone Logan was activated, Jeff, and it gives him an extra left-handed arm and somebody they really look to get going at the start of this season when they acquired him in the offseason.
Yeah, and that really helps Walt Weiss because now you have two strong left-handers out there. And, of course, Boone Logan is a guy that has over 420 games at the major league level, averaging over a strikeout per inning pitched. Of course, it comes at the expense of a Corey Dickerson who's being optioned to AAA. It's nothing that Corey did. It's just happened to be one of those numbers. But for Boone Logan, 176 innings in 4 years with the Yankees and over 80 appearances in one of those years. So he is a durable guy. And yeah, he had some bone chips removed and had the surgery, and that set him back briefly. But now you look for him to be one of those workhorses out there.
And with Corey Dickerson going down, there's no longer 6 outfield spots, and Corey hits from the left side. So Walt Weiss was asked fairly early on in his press conference today about the absence of a left-handed bat late in games. Here's how he responded.
Well, that's a trade-off. You know, it's tough to have a perfect club for 6 months. You know, there's going to be some give and take, but you know, we'll have to work around that. Yeah, no doubt about it.
It is a reminder, and we talk about this so much late in March and early in April, that the 25-man roster that breaks camp, it's a fluid situation, and the Rockies think very highly of Corey Dickerson.
Well, yeah, and that's why he is going down. No player likes to hear that, but he's going down to get some at-bats, so when they do need him, he'll be ready to go, and it's not like he's rusty.
Well, who are the Chicago White Sox? They made a big move themselves in the offseason, acquiring one Jose Abreu. More on the White Sox and the Cuban connection when we return to Coors Field.
the door to the bullpen just came open because Jordan Lyles is about to make his way to the mound as the Rockies begin a 3-game series against the White Sox here at 20th and Blake. Marked out by the Rockies dugout. This offseason, the White Sox made a big signing in the free agent pool. You may not know the name Jose Abreu, but if you're a Rockies fan, you should, because the Rockies were interested in the Cuban first baseman. In fact, they were willing to go 6 years, $63 million. He took the $69 million the White Sox signed him for. Now he's 1-11 on their current road trip, but he was a massive star in Cuba, and for the national team that played in the WBC, he spent 10 years professionally in the Cuban Baseball League, playing for the Cienfuegos Oilers. And notice that he's one of 16 current Cuban major leaguers. 4 of those 16 are members of the White Sox. I'm sure that's a reason why he decided to spend his time on the south side of Chicago and not here in Denver. You cannot miss him. He is 6'3", 255. Looks like he could play maybe defensive line in the NFL with the Bears or the Broncos. And he wears that number 79. He's only the 3rd major leaguer to wear it because his grandmother picked it out. She said 79 is good luck. We hope not tonight, but you won't be able to miss Abreu for the White Sox. He is a big man. First pitch coming up from Coors Field. Interleague play for the Rockies begins next here on Root Sports.
Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Chilly night at Coors Field. The skies overhead are clear. It is definitely a sweatshirt. If you're sitting in the stands, sweatshirt and a blanket night, probably, as the Rockies open up this 3-game set against the Chicago White Sox. Colorado taking the field in their Purple Monday jerseys. Jordan Lyles making his 2nd start. He got a victory down in Miami in his first start. And the first guy he'll face is the former Arizona Diamondback, Adam. An off-season trade, he moved on to the White Sox. Here's the Southwest batting order for Robert Ventura. He'll have Marcus Semien batting 2nd. Jose Abreu, who Mark was just speaking of, will bat 3rd. Connor Gillespie, who spent time in the National League with San Francisco, will bat 4th. Aviciel Garcia will bat 5th. Alejandro Diaza will bat 6th. Alexi Ramirez, good shortstop, will bat 7th. Tyler Flowers, swinging the bat well out of the gate, will bat 8th. And the former Rocky, albeit briefly, Felipe Paulino, will bat 9th. The numbers for Jordan Lyle are brought to you by Inova. Visit InovaCC.com. Huey?
Well, that was Jordan Lyle's number last year when he was with the Houston Astros. Still look at the walks, only 49 walks in 141 2/3 innings. That's the positive note from there, because he knows that he has to keep the ball down on the lower part of the strike zone, get the ground ball outs. And the difference that Jordan has and the advantage he has this year compared to last year when he was with the Astros is that he has a gold glove type of defense behind him. So use that to your advantage. And in the first inning in Jordan's career, hitters are batting just .249 against him.
Well, that's a good number. Here are those gloves behind him. It's brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit ResponsibleByNature.com today to learn more. Cargo, Charlie Blackmon, Michael Kadire in the outfield. Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, Morneau, and Willeen Rosario. So it is the Rockies' A lineup here early in the season. And Adam Eaton steps in, and we are ready for baseball. And Jordan Lyle's fastball just off the outside corner at 91. Ball 1. Rob Drake's calling balls and strikes tonight. Alan Porter at first. Joe West, the crew chief, at second. Marty Foster is at third.
What I was going to say, Drew, that's where Jordan will sit tonight, 91, 92 miles an hour. It's not going to be a 95. He doesn't need to, but pitch inside, outside, shave the corners, and work down.
Here's the 2-0 on Eaton, and that misses outside, and it's 3-0. Adam Eaton was the MVP of the Pacific Coast League in 2012. We were talking a lot about Chris Owings, who was the MVP of the Pacific Coast League with Arizona. Of course, we mentioned that a couple of times over the weekend because Arizona was here. So back-to-back years, Arizona produced the top player in the Pacific Coast League. And the reason that he won the award, talking about Eaton, 2 years ago, he hit .381.
Yeah, and I don't care what level you're at or what team it is. That's a monster number. That's in Reno, AAA club for Arizona. But Adam Eaton, he's the guy that the White Sox were really targeting this winter because of his ability to play center field, but also be a spark at the top of the lineup.
They were the worst offense in the American League last year. They scored less than 600 runs, which is bad whether you're in the American League or the National League. Ground ball to DJ. But think about it. In the American League, you have the benefit of a designated hitter. So, and they also play, as you well know,
yes,
Huey, in an offensive yard. So it was just a horrible year for Robin Ventura's club with the bats.
Well, and that's why they went from second 2 years ago in the division to last year with 99 losses.
Yeah, and last year, as Jeff talks about, they lost 99 ball games. Contributing to their difficult season was their defense. 2 years ago, they had 70 errors. That was the best in the American League. Last year, they committed more than 50 more errors. They were the second worst in the American League. Will that hang in the air long enough? Yep. Good running catch by Charlie Blackmon on the Simeon fly ball, and 2 are out.
And whichever way the wind's blowing, that helped that ball because it's blowing from left center to right center, and that ball hung up long enough for Charlie to snag it.
And here is Jose Abreu.
You and I were both down by the White Sox dugout prior to batting practice today. We both commented how big not only Jose is, but their team in general when you have Adam Dunn and Paul Konerko and now Jose Abreu.
Yeah, that's not to forget about the right fielder, Avisail Garcia, who's 6'3" and about 255 pounds himself. On the ground to short. Tulo's got it, and it's a very nice start for Jordan Lyles. 1-2-3 with a couple of ground balls in the first against the White Sox. To go offensively, and let's take a look at what Walt Weiss is drawing up tonight for a lineup. It is brought to you as always by Southwest Airlines. Pretty good idea to put a guy hitting .542 up top. Charlie Blackmon, who is the co-player of the week in the National League. We learned that earlier today, along with Jose Fernandez, who the Rockies saw down in Miami. Michael Kadire off to a great start, as is Carlos Gonzalez. Troy Tulowitzki at 333. Morneau 333. Rosario, Arenado, DJ LeMahieu, and then Jordan Lyles to face Felipe Paulino. And the first pitch of the ball game at 93. Paulino, a Rocky in 2011, and he worked out of the pen. Was 0-4 with an unsightly 7+ ERA.
Got 23 hits in those 14 innings coming out of the pen for Paulino. Missed a lot of time the last 2 years with various surgeries. First Tommy John and then shoulder surgery. Well, he's just getting back out on the hill, making a second start this year.
2-0's in there, 2-1. Paulino was in the Royals organization last year, rehabbing in the minor leagues. 3-1. He has not regained that
No.
huge velocity, Jeff, that he had.
Yeah, when he was here, he was 95 to 97, sometimes touching 98. Now it's more the 90 to 93 variety.
And this is pulled to first, and Jose Abreu runs to the bag, 1 out. A little bit more on Felipe Paulino, and it's brought to you by Innova. Visit InnovaCC.com.
Well, not good numbers at all for Paulino. 13-32. That's the lowest winning percentage. Active pitchers with 50 or more starts in the big leagues. A lot of runs allowed, a lot of hits. He's always had that big arm, but could never figure out how to pitch with it. More of a thrower instead of a pitcher.
Yeah, he's had some moments. And when you have a big arm, you keep getting opportunities. Felipe now 30 years of age. Born in the Dominican Republic, though he was raised in Venezuela. It's chopped foul by Kadire. Michael off to a tremendous start. He's hitting all 7 ball games this year. It's so funny. Michael hit one something during spring training.
Everybody was, what's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong? He said, I'm hitting the ball well. I'm just hitting a lot of out of balls. Out in front a little bit, popped up. And this is going to be adventure. Anything in the air is going to be tough. Eaton coming on. Makes the play. Wind is really blowing left to right, as Huey described last half inning. 2 gone. Cargo will be coming up. The White Sox defensively, they're brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Diaza, Eaton, and Garcia in the outfield. Gillespie and Ramirez left side. Simeon and Abreu on the right side. Tyler Flowers is a good catch and throw guy behind the plate. Cargo takes strike 1. He had a base hit late in the ball game yesterday to keep his hitting streak alive at 7 ball games.
Just looking at the White Sox, seeing if they're going to pull the shift on Carlos, and they're not really. A huge shift. Yeah, the second baseman slid over, and the shortstop's more up the middle. But that's not what we've seen employed against him at various times.
It's always interesting to see American League clubs when they come in here, not being regular visitors, how they align their outfield with the enormity of the grass out there.
Do they play deep or do they play shallow to try to take away the dunk, squeeze the gaps? But that's also, sometimes that's determined by the manager, how he wants to play it or how he feels his pitching staff is going to attack the hitters. And so they'll say, well, this is the way we like to do it. We're going to play it to our strengths.
1-2. And Cargo fouls this pitch off. Cargo's seen Paulino 7 times in his career, and without a hit against him, 0 for 7. How many guys could say, yeah, I've held him hitless for that many at-bats. I don't know if that's going to continue. Deep right field and gone. Over the top of the scoreboard. 1-0 Colorado. Cargo with his third on the season.
Now
he ain't hitless anymore.
And that's the first home run allowed by a White Sox starter this year. And only the second as a staff. They've gone 38, actually 39 innings prior to this home run from Carlos Gonzalez. But the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo shows the contact point and just the line drive and the ability of Cargo for that ball to get out.
And Cargo knew he hit it well and hard, but you could see as he was running out of the box, he thought it's probably off the wall, and he's thinking double.
Because of the auxiliary scoreboard. You know, as high as that wall is in the top spin, it's hard to get it over that when it's on the line like he hit it.
Troy in his career is 4 for 12 against Felipe Paulino.
That's exactly what you want to do early in this game against Paulino, who does not have success here at Coors Field. Put that bad memory back in that brain.
And that's inside 3-0. Eight-game hitting streak to start the season for Gonzalez. Got the man going, the little pony going.
Yes. Between Charlie's beard and Carlos's hair, it's all right. It helps you hit. Keep it going.
Whatever works. Inside, Tulowitzki draws a walk, and that'll bring up Justin Morneau with 2 outs.
Third season for Robin Ventura, the manager of the White Sox.
Now they do put the shift on for Morneau.
All the games that they've faced against Morneau.
Yeah, they're familiar with Morneau and Kadire. Between the two of them, they've played 1,051 games against the White Sox. The rest of the Rockies, saying Chicago who? Not quite, but the rest of the club, 32 ball games.
Yeah, LaTroy Hawkins probably has a majority of those 32 games.
LaTroy's played against everybody. There's not a guy in baseball he doesn't know. Before the game, there were like 4. We were standing there, about 4 or 5 different White Sox individually at different times calling over to LaTroy. Comes over, big hug. How you doing? How the kids?
Yeah, and the respect factor.
Yeah.
All of that together. Talking about LaTroy, it's just there's not a bad thing said about him in baseball.
1-1 on Morneau. High and deep and foul. In fact, Adam Dunn is a good guy, really good guy. Yelled to LaTroy as LaTroy was coming over. He said, "I thought you retired." Came over and
nope, I'm still pitching.
They got together for a while. Outside 2-2.
86 mile an hour. That's the new split finger that Paulino has incorporated now. Try to take some of the stress off the elbow with this, not throwing the slider as much.
Signed a 1-year, $1.75 million deal with the White Sox. And it's 3-2. So after he got the first 2 hitters, Blackman and Kadire, Cargo hit the home run to right. He walked Tulowitzki, and now he's 25 pitches into the inning.
And it's already his third 3-ball count.
Troy will be off. Here's the 3-2.
Just wasted that pitch. It wasn't a good pitch to hit, but he knew that it was close enough, just foul it off.
As I say, it probably was ball 4, but that's really easy up here to say. Why do you swing at that?
Why do you swing at that?
You have 0.4 of a second to make a decision whether or not to fire.
Those are the easy ones to foul off, the ones up and away from you.
That's Ramirez on the right side, throwing to first. In the inning, the Rockies get on the board. Cargo with his 3rd of the year. Bullet over the auxiliary scoreboard against Felipe Paulino. A good beginning.
Nothing Rockies. We go top 2. Charlie Blackmon went deep on opening day. He is also the co-NL Player of the Week with Jose Fernandez of the Miami Marlins. And I was talking to Charlie about the gift that he got because he won it last year too.
I did. I got a really cool watch for the Player of the Week.
What about now as co?
Another cool watch? I don't know. I really don't know what I get. I'll check the mailbox, let you know.
And I'll keep asking him and let everybody know when he gets his next watch. Yeah, he won it last year, September 16th through the 22nd. And again, the first week of this year. Not bad for number 19, guys.
No, not bad at all. Connor Gillespie's at the plate. Hey, Mark, you know, we know Charlie a little bit, and Charlie comes across, he deadpans everything. He's like Stephen Wright, the comedian.
Right. He's got this box of things in his car. Cargo's locker is right next to him. And Cargo's got this giant bat case. And I said, did you get a case for your bats? He's like, my bats just sit in the bat rack. I don't have a case for my bats. But that's how Charlie is, and I think that's why the fans love him. He kind of does deadpan everything. But the guy had a great week. He hit over 500 last year in September. He was at 500 in that week, but he bettered that this year.
Yeah, good for him. Slice toward Gonzalez. Cargo will get over there. So smooth.
It's just so much fun to watch Cargo. We're talking about that bat case for Cargo. I think with 2 National League Player of the Week honors, you might be getting a bat case yourself.
Tulo's got one. Cargo's got one. Hey, maybe Charlie next, right?
That's right.
Keeps hitting like he has been. He'll get a bat case.
Cargo
and Tulo will go in together and buy him his own. Avi Garcia at the plate. And he takes ball 1. They hope that one day he develops, and you can see how big he is, that he develops into a 25 home run, 100 RBI type of player.
But he has a body type of Miguel Cabrera. The way, and also the batting stance, the way he stands at the plate. This is the first thought that came into my mind, seeing Garcia for the first time. I know we saw him in spring training, but right now on the Major League field, it just looks like Miggy.
Yeah, he's about the same size. You're right, 6'4", 240. Cabrera's even a little taller at 6'5". Tardy on the fastball. It's 1-2. Last year, he had 283, 7 home runs, drove in 41 between the White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. He played with Cabrera. That was the 3-team trade that sent Iglesias to Detroit.
Iglesias is out at least until the All-Star break.
Yeah, big blow for Detroit. Boston was clearing room for Xander Bogaerts, one of the top young players in the game. 2-2. 3-2.
That was just a curveball or slider. It's just 88. It might have been the fastball. Just pulled off and fell and opened up the shoulder, lost the velocity.
Got him on high heat at 92. First strikeout of the ball game for Jordan Lyles.
All three of the pitches that Garcia swung at were up in the zone. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, the straight out of the hand. And that was just a two-seam fastball, letter high. I guess Garcia cannot get on top of it. Works underneath the baseball, drops the hands, barrels tardy.
Alejandro Diaz at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. The native of the Dominican Republic, 264 with a career best 17 home runs last year. Hey, Rockies fans, once again this year we will answer your questions during Toyota Talk. Text Toyota followed by your question to 720-720 and watch in the 5th inning as we get to as many of your questions as we can. Here's the 2-0 to Diaz. And that's a called strike, 2-1.
That was well received from Moline. It was at the top of the zone, but he caught the ball with his glove.
Hooded it.
Yeah, above the ball to make it appear like it was lower.
On the ground to second. And another 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Lyles. Rockies have a 1-0 lead on the Cargo home run. Rockies up 1-0 on the bullet home run to right by Carlos Gonzalez. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hughes, and Mark Stout on a chilly Monday night. Into week 2 of the Major League season 2014. Rockies at 3-4. The White Sox 3-3. Willeen Rosario at the plate against Felipe Paulino. And he hits it in the air to right. Javi Garcia will make the play, 1 out. Time now for the big hit presented by Mako, the company that repairs all kinds of hits. How about this one off the bat of Nolan Arenado a couple of days ago to dead center field. Great effort by A.J. Pollock. Went off his glove, home run, and then in his next at bat, he had a towering shot to left. First multi-home run game of Nolan Arenado's career. It will not be his last. Check out your local Mako for collision repairs and auto painting for as low as $449. Visit Mako.com today. And that's in the zone. Strike one on Arenado. Couple home runs, 6 RBIs driven in the opening week of the season.
He's finding out too, he's also being pitched differently than last year. They're not just coming after him with the fastball. Last year they're still trying to figure out that strike zone. Sometimes early in the season you get yourself out because you're aggressive. And maybe if you, like the home run the other day was a center fielder, you take that walk, it helps your batting eye get back to where you would like it to be.
2-2 on Arenado, who is a very aggressive hitter at the plate. Did not walk much last year. And that's fouled off.
I don't have a problem with guys that don't walk much early in their career, because then you'll learn the patience later on. You learn your strike zone, you learn what pitches you can handle and which pitches you can't.
Yeah, he walked just 23 times last year, knocked down by the third baseman Gillespie, and he still had time to throw out Arenado. Two gone. DJ LeMahieu will come up. Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Between 4 and 6, get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. DJ's numbers against the American League not so good. 159 average. It kind of mirrors what the Rockies have done against the American League the last couple of years. Just 7 and 28. In fact, at Coors Field against the American League the last 2 years, the Rockies have won just 4 games and lost 15. And that stands in stark contrast to what they had done, you know, in 09, 2010, 2011, where they were the most dominant National League team against the American League.
Right, and against good teams, too. We're talking the Yankees, Boston, when they're playing all those tough teams and went out there and won. And then that was the difference when the last 2 years, as you mentioned, not being able to hold serve at Coors Field.
So the Rockies went 74 times last year, and if you break down their record, they were solid against the NL West. They went 500 inside their division, 38-38. They held their own against the Central and the East. They got obliterated by the American League. In fact, the Central, they were 18-13. The East, not so good, 13-22, but it was 5-15 last year against the American League, and you know, that's an area that has to change.
And as you mentioned, 3-7 against the American League at home, but in the National League is 42-29. I mean, that's respectable, because you play those teams so many times within your division in a year. To be 13 games over 500, that's what you're looking for, if not higher.
Nice job by LeMahieu working out that walk, getting to flip the lineup here in the second. Lyles takes a strike.
Those are the little at bats, even though it's a second inning, to flip the lineup already instead of having Jordan leading off next inning. And for DJ, he was behind in the count. It's a 1-2 count. The walk. That's why it's so hard that 8th place hitter in the National League. So many things that you have to think about before you even step in the box. When can I be extra aggressive and expand the strike zone? When do I have to shrink it?
You know, when are they wanting me to be extra aggressive? This ball's driven to left center field, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. DJ LeMahieu's going to score easily. Jordan Lyles with an RBI double. Robin Ventura looking at the lineup card saying, did they sneak a DH in there? That ball was scalded. 2-0 Colorado.
With that swing, it looks like they might have, but no, this is all Jordan Lyles from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermall. Watch the contact point. I mean, right on the sweet spot, and that is a great swing. I mean, that is not a pitcher swing. That was an athlete swinging the bat. And of course, DJ LeMahieu coming around third base. It's a little bit easier scoring from first on that ball than the one he had from Cargo the other day into the right center field gap.
Good point. Now Charlie Blackmon up there. You and I and George were watching him take batting practice down in Miami, and we did remark he swings the bat pretty well.
Well, and you could see the finish on the swing. It wasn't just to make contact. It was explosion through contact.
Such a huge bonus when you get production from the pitcher spot in the National League. You know, all those years Carlos Zambrano in Chicago was throwing out 4 or 5 home runs a year, and you had to legitimately pitch to him. Helps you win games.
It also helps the pitcher stay in the game longer to give himself more of an opportunity to get the W. When a manager knows, well, I have this pitcher that he can hit, I don't have to go to my bench as early.
You know, when you get a guy the ilk of a Zambrano, or when the Rockies had Mike Hampton in the National League, they'll usually get 3, 4, 5 pinch hitting at bats in extra inning games too. One and 2 on Blackmon. Came in leading the National League and hitting at .542. He has good numbers against the AL.
On that fastball.
It's the hardest pitch he's thrown.
Let's see if he goes back to the split finger at 85 or 86.
He went
Doubled
heater
up
again, and once again he touches 95. He's 46 pitches into the ball game with 2 outs in the second inning. This ball driven to center field and DB. Got it. Oh, man. What a catch by Adam Eaton. A run-scoring catch. He had to reroute in the middle. That ball was blistered also.
He had that long glove because that's the only way he caught that.
He's not the biggest guy in the world either. Maybe 5'8". Rockies up 2-0. Food Sports is brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Power you want and good looks too. Ford, go further. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Rockies have a 2-0 lead. It would have been 3 if not for the great play by Adam Eaton, and one of the first to greet him in the dugout, who appreciated it more than anybody, Felipe Paulino.
You and I were both commenting in break that we were surprised he even got that close to it. Charlie hit the heck out of that ball.
That ball had backspin, and it looked like one of those cargo line drives.
It just keeps rising.
Alexi Ramirez, the very durable Cuban shortstop for the Chicago White Sox. Notoriously a slow starter in April, but he's off to a very hot start. He's at .455.
Stolen bases already.
This ball's pretty well hit center field. Charlie Blackmon, long stride. And he ran to a spot and then put on the brakes as the wind brought it back a little bit towards center field. With one out, Tyler Flowers will come up.
Go back to that ball that Alexi Ramirez hit. And once the ball gets up today, high enough with the flag, the outfielders know, and they can continue to check that flag, and they'll throw up some grass, and that's why Charlie put on the brakes, because he knew, well, I'm running to a spot, but the wind's going to blow it back to me.
Tyler Flowers, the backstop, takes a strike. He's a Georgia kid. He's always been well thought of for his defense. And in more than 500 at bats coming into this year, he had a career average of 200, right at the Mendoza line. Todd Steverson came from the Oakland organization, took over as a hitting coach this year, and they've made a connection. He's lowered his hands a little bit with Flowers.
Yeah, about 10 or 12 inches lower, and that's a huge difference in hand positioning.
At least in the early going, it's helped out. He's
when you're hitting
500, he had 7 straight hits at one point this year.
Yeah, but when you hit 200 and 500 at bats, you'll try anything. You'll say, you know, let me lower my hands and see if that will work.
Hard sinker, just missed 2 and 2.
So it was inside.
The pitch that may have been missed was that third pitch, which was above the second pitch, which was pulled foul. We were remarking how big the White Sox are. This guy's 6'4", 245.
Forgot about him. Forgot about Tyler.
One out in the third, 2-0 Colorado. Three and 2.
Not bad number, 34 pitches in the third inning for Jordan Lyles.
And he loses him. First base runner for the White Sox. A Flowers walk with one out in the third, and that'll bring up Felipe Paulino. Paulino, like Lyles, a former Houston Astro.
Rockies picked Paulino up from was the Astros. Think about maybe trying to get the lead runner here at first base with the ball's up and in. Paulino, he had to just back out of the way and throw the bat down. Pitchers are taught when a guy squares around, try to throw the ball up in the zone and more in on their hands, because that'll be a pitch that they pop up. They'll stab at it, the ball will go in the air. But what I was mentioning a moment ago is go ahead and crash real hard and think about if you get that ball looking to second base first, because Flowers is not a fast runner.
Maybe a chance here. They want to go two. Lyles, perfect throw on the first double play. You called it, Huey. The middle infield instincts taking over. 1-6-3 on that turn. Beautiful feed by Lyles. Rockies 2. Shy Sox nothing. Rockies leading 2-0 as they come to bat in the bottom of the third inning. Kadire, Gonzalez, Tulowitzki. Subaru's bringing you the manager's challenge this season. If there's a questionable call, instant replay will be used to determine the outcome. It's brought to you by Subaru Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And Walt Weiss successfully challenged in the first inning yesterday when Charlie Blackmon had a bang-bang play at first. He was called out, and after the review, he was called safe, an infield hit. At that point in time, Charlie had 10 hits in 11 at-bats. Michael hit a fly ball to center field his first time up. Strike. Again, Boone Logan's been activated for the Rockies. So they have an extra pitcher. The bullpen, Corey Dickerson, was sent down to Colorado Springs prior to the start of this affair. Fastball count. Here's the 3-1. It's in there 3-2.
This is the move you were referencing, Drew, as Boone Logan gives you a second left-hander out in the bullpen, and Corey Dickerson has a chance to go down and get some at-bats in AAA.
And a leadoff walk. That's the third walk allowed by Paulino already. And look who's coming to bat. Cargo got a slider, and he absolutely smothered it. The only question, was it going to be high enough to get out of the ballpark? Third home run for Carlos Gonzalez. He's driven in 9. That leads the club. This is popped up. Foul territory behind third. And the catch is made by Gillespie.
Well, he was the only one that was going to be able to catch that because Alexi Ramirez, the shortstop, had lost the ball in the haze in this dusk time period. Yeah, he's just saying I couldn't see it at all. And he starts running after it. And this would be a ball that a shortstop would take, but Ramirez said, no, I don't see it. Where is it? And then he sees Gillespie is underneath it.
Michael Kadire, a very smart base runner, a selective base stealer.
Well, you know, pretty good move to first. He has quick feet for a big guy.
It's almost a 50-50 split, balls and strikes, not what you're looking for. That's a strike. Time for you to tweet us your Rockies fan photos using the hashtag Rockies fan photo for a chance to have it shown during an upcoming game broadcast to you. And it's brought to you by AT&T. One and two. Morneau's on deck.
Troy looking for a fastball, didn't get it. Paulino, that's his favorite pitch, the fastball.
Tulowitzki lines a base hit to left. Kadire will stop at second, and here comes Justin Morneau.
Oh, look at that hanging slider on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. That's the equivalent of a batting practice fastball during the game, those hanging sliders.
Morneau bounced to the right side. They had the shift on his first time up. And Ramirez was over there. Ramirez is up the middle right now, and that's on the outside corner for a strike. Let's quickly check in again with Mark Stout. Mark?
Yeah, Drew, you and Huey had mentioned how Morneau's played a bunch of games against this White Sox team. As a matter of fact, he has the most RBIs in his career against the White Sox against one club, 108 and 25 home runs. That's the second most. He's got 26 against KC. Let's see what he does.
Can't put the shift on with runners at first and second, one out, so Ramirez has to stay behind Troy at second base and more on the shortstop side.
They could put the shift on, but it would kind of give it a free bag to Kadire.
To steal third, yeah, but look at all this area right through there for him to hit the ball.
0-1. Flowers keeps it in the vicinity. drive right field, base hit. Garcia to it quickly. Kadire will have to stop. He was hit so hard. So now the bases are loaded for Willeen Rosario.
Talk about just sitting on a pitch and waiting for it. This is what Justin does. Inside, pull the hands close to the body, drop the right elbow into a nice hitting slot. And as you mentioned, Drew, it was hit so hard that Kadire had to wait to see and make sure it wasn't going to be caught. Garcia has a strong, strong arm in right field. Plus, you don't want to run yourself out of an inning when you have Willeen Rosario. Let's go to the outfield arms for the White Sox. We'll go to left field first with Diaz is below average both on strength and accuracy. Adam Eaton in center field gathers quickly, and he can make all the throws that you want, but it's Garcia in right field. Just has one of those cannon of an arm, but because he's so young, not quite sure where it's going to go, so that's why the accuracy is below average.
So the base is drunk for the Baby Bull with one out in the Rockies' third, up 2-0. Back up the middle, knocked down. Will there be a play to first? Safe. Infield single, make it 3-0. Good hustle by Rosario. Off of Paulino, and Simeon, by the time he got there, was a smidgen late trying to get Willeen, who runs a little better than average for a catcher.
Yeah, Paulino knocked that ball down enough for Willeen to beat it out. He tried to reach behind him. Yeah, and that is a correct call from the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl. And that was some hustle from Willeen Rosario. There he's safe. Ball in the glove. RBI single.
And here's a real opportunity now for the Rockies to blow this thing open. They're up 3-0, one out. Arenado at the plate. Ground ball to third his first time. Hugh, you played 11 years in the big leagues. You know, Arenado's played Little League, and he's played Legion ball, and he's played travel ball, and he's played high school and minor league baseball. Now he's in the big league second. You get anxious when the bases are full.
Yes, you do. You get amped up. And that comes with experience. How do you slow that heartbeat down? And I always like to think of the pitcher is the one in trouble, not me. He's in trouble. The bases are loaded. There's only one out. You've already put 3 on the board against him. Slow down. Take a deep breath and know that he's trying to get out of this, and how is he going to do it? I'm looking for a pitch that I can hit in a gap and drive in some more runs.
0-2 bounces up there, 1-2.
Good news for Nolan this year, 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position and 2 for 5 in his career with them loaded.
Don Cooper on the right of Robin Ventura. Tulowitzki at third, Morneau at second, Rosario at first, all with base hits. And the foul tip is held, so Arenado strikes out for the second out. And DJ LeMahieu will come up.
Fans, you want to schedule a group outing at Coors Field? Well, you can do that. You get discounts, scoreboard recognition when you bring your group of 25 or more. So get your group together. Call 303 Rockies and bring them out here to this wonderful, wonderful place called Coors Field.
Slider outside. This ball in the air to shallow left field. Bad read initially, but caught, and not knowing that it was the third out is Diaz. He's ready to throw. There's no need to get a fourth out. Alejandro. In the inning, the Rockies do come up with a run on the infield single by Rosario. They scored a single run in each of the first 3 frames. Get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Willian Rosario leg hit to give the Rockies a 3-0 lead. Jordan Lyles has been very good. He's allowed one base runner. That was a walk to Tyler Flowers with one out in the third inning. And then on a bunt attempt by Felipe Paulino, he fired to second to start a 1-6-3 double play. So Lyles has been impressive in the early going, and now the second time through for the White Sox will begin with Adam Eaton.
5 of the 9 outs so far for Jordan have been on the ground. 1 strikeout, a couple flyouts, 3 flyouts. Take that, knowing what that defense has behind you. Let them use their gloves and help you out.
Cuts inside, 2 balls and a strike. Rockies looking to get back to 500. And a ground ball to LeMahieu, puts the knee down. You can do that on the right side.
Yes, you can.
Flips over to Justin Morneau. 1 out. Marcus Semien will be coming up next. Let's take a look at the White Sox staff for Robin Ventura's in his 3rd year. Todd Steverson's new to the hitting job. We mentioned that. Don Cooper's been with the White Sox a long time. Darryl Boston at first. Joe McEwing is a 3rd. Mark Parent, a former teammate of yours, is behind the is on the bench, I should say. Bobby Thigpen's there also. We showed Darryl Boston. Darryl Boston was with the Rockies back in 1993, their inaugural season. I think many Rockies fans may recall that, and had a solid campaign with the Rockies.
It's just good to see people like a Darryl Boston, who's been in the game a long time, get a chance to show what he's got at the major league level. Another guy we didn't have on that list because he's the assistant hitting coach is Harold Baines, a former teammate of mine for a couple years in Baltimore. This is Baines' 33rd year in pro ball.
Tell you what, I need not tell you this. What a player he was.
Oh, well, I mean, it shows you how for Harold Baines, he had his number retired after he left the White Sox while he was still playing.
Really? 2-2, and that's punched to left field. First base hit for the White Sox. Semien is aboard with 1 out in front of Jose Abreu.
Robin Ventura, the skipper of the White Sox, 16 major league seasons. 2-time All-Star, 6-time Gold Glove winner.
He was a tremendous player, and he's probably best known for trying to fight Nolan Ryan.
That didn't work out so well.
Didn't work out so well.
Yeah, got him in a headlock and started punching him.
Hog tied him.
Yep.
Thought he was cattle. Abreu to center field, pretty deep but playable for Blackman. Charlie makes the catch, and Jose Abreu is the 2nd out of the inning. Harold Baines concluded his career with 2,866 hits.
Yeah, people that heard me talk about Harold before, and I've said it on the broadcast for Baines, you didn't know whether he went 5 for 5 or 0 for 5. He was the same even-keeled guy the whole time. After a while, he just quit traveling with the glove because he never used it. He was just a DH. The Rawlings guy would come into town and say, "Nope, I don't need one." But before he hurt his knees, though, he was a heck of an outfielder.
You played with some good DHs when you were in Seattle.
Edgar.
Did Edgar have a glove anymore?
I think he had one just for show.
Gillespie takes a strike, 0-1.
I was fortunate to play with some guys like that.
That shortstop you played with in Baltimore was pretty good too.
Yeah, he was real good.
Another guy always weaseled his way into the lineup. Good pitch.
His daughter works here at the stadium. Rachel
Ripken.
Yes, she does. The last pitch from Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo, the first curveball we've seen tonight. Straight over the top. The downward bite from Jordan Lyles. Rachel is a CU buff. School in Boulder.
Well, I know your eldest son Kyle's pretty excited right now. Kyle's a great student, but I don't know how much studying he's getting done tonight because Kyle, a scholarship hockey player at UConn, and I think they are going to be rather busy the next couple of nights.
Cancel some classes. The men playing tonight, the women tomorrow night.
A women's game, 2 unbeaten, Notre Dame and Gino's team. Two and two.
Connor Gillespie played for Gene Stevenson, the Wichita State Shockers.
Yeah, he's from the Omaha area. We just saw Gene Stevenson late in spring training.
When the White Sox were playing the Rockies.
2-2. It's 3-2.
Justin Morneau looking into the dugout, asking, do you want me to play behind with the left-handed hitter up? And that's usually the rule of thumb. And he's just doing some yard work, manicuring where the base runners get out there and leave a divot. So he'll wait right in his hip pocket. When he thinks that pitch will be delivered home, he'll back up 2 or 3 steps.
Runner going. This ball's well hit to right center field. Blackman hoping for a play. We'll have one. Gutsy play by Charlie Blackman. He knew he was a step away from the fence. People wondering whether Charlie could play center field every day. He's answering those questions right now. This was a beautiful running catch. Keeps the Rockies in front by a 3 spot. Jordan Lyles at the plate. Roped a double to left center field his first time up to drive in DJ LeMahieu. The Rockies' second run. Here's the 0-1. Gets a slider, and it's 0-2.
That's what you get when you rope a double. You get an 0-1 slider.
Break this swing down, Huey.
Well, it's a great swing because the front foot gets down and then the hips clear after the contact is made and the follow through.
And another knock. He's spraying around the field, putting on a hitting clinic. He was going, dude, wait a second. What'd you do in your background?
Did I hit? Another slider. Jordan Lyles at the head following the barrel of the bat. Slices it to right field.
Now, I'll tell you this about Jordan Lyles. You can tell by the swing. He's a really good athlete. When he was a senior in high school, he hadn't played high school football before. He went out. We told the story down in Miami. He had 82 catches for over 1,500 yards and 23 touchdowns. All of a sudden, some big-time schools were interested. And he was going to, had he not signed, he was going to go to the University of South Carolina in Columbia. That's South Carolina.
Okay.
And he was going to walk on as a preferred walk-on, play football and baseball there.
I just picked it up my senior year.
Yeah, hey, this is fun. I didn't know you guys were all running around here in the fall with helmets on. Big target.
Makes it easy to throw to those guys.
2-0 on Charlie Blackmon. Rockies have out-hit the White Sox 6-1. Here's the 2-0. Good swing. Charlie had a great swing his last time up. In the second inning with Lyles at second, I mean, he rips this ball to center. And this is a marvelous catch by Adam Eaton at the very top of the 12 3/4-inch glove.
Yeah, and he just reached out at the precise moment that he needed to because that ball was hit so hard. And if he does it, that's minimum a triple. Just checking out the flags because the wind has died down from what it was at the start of the game. Start of the game, I don't know what it was, 15, 20 miles an hour.
Pretty significant. Probably helped Adam Eaton a little bit that he's played games in this ballpark.
Well, it does because you're familiar with how the ball carries here compared to Chicago or even down in Arizona. You know you're not surprised.
This is Luke to shallow left. Diaza got a good jump, and that's the first out in the fourth inning. And that'll bring up Michael Kadire. The Ford Strike Zone is powered by Ford Cars. Big MPGs, smart technology, and unsurpassed quality. See what happens when fun meets the road. Ford, go further. Cuddy, a fly ball to shallow center and a walk and a run score. He's hit in the first 7 games for the Rockies this year.
And if you could ever say a guy's hitting .419 and flying under the radar, Cuddy, because of what Charlie Blackmon has done and Cargo with the home runs and really everybody just throughout the lineup doing what you expect. You come in, you're hitting .308 as a team batting average, tops in the major leagues. Kadire's just still throwing out those doubles, home runs, 2 or 3 knocks a night.
Two balls and a strike. And in the air to right field. Caught by Avi Garcia, and there are 2 outs. Auto glass damage, trust Safelite. Go online to safelight.com or give them a call at 303-287-5000. Safelite Auto Glass. And with 2 outs, Carlos Gonzalez will come up. Jordan Lyles still at first. Cargo a home run to right over the auxiliary scoreboard, and he fouled out down the third base line. He has hit all 8 Rockies games thus far. Outfield pulled around for Cargo to pull and very deep. And that touches the zone. Cargo already has a couple of stolen bases this year. Last year, in basically half a season, he had 21 bags. There were 7 guys who produced 20-20 seasons in the National League last year. 20 home runs, 20 RBI, or 20 stolen bases. Cargo, Carlos Gomez, Hunter Pence. Swung on and missed. And he's gone. Will Venable, St-Chin Chu, Andrew McCutchen, and Ian Desmond. 3-0 Colorado. Time now for our first bank game recap. Rockies up 3-0. Lyles has pitched very well. Cargo a home run. Lyles is 2 for 2, including an RBI double in the second inning. Lyles ready to go in the top of the 5th inning. He'll face Avi Garcia, Alejandro Diaz, and Alexi Ramirez. It is also the 5th inning, as we just remarked, and that means it is the inning where you get to ask us questions.
And we're ready.
It's our Toyota Talk inning. Yep.
Jordan Lyles, 54 pitches, 30 for strikes in 4 innings.
Sliders high. Avisail Garcia, and he pulls it to left for a base hit. And our first question during Toyota Talk: do American League pitchers get tired quicker when they have to hit in interleague?
I think they might a little bit because they're not used to doing it. For American League pitchers, now it's a little different now because it's stretched out throughout the course of a season, but before, when it was just a shorter window, the pitchers wouldn't start hitting up until about a week before the interleague game started. So they'll look at the schedule and then they'll start working the pitchers' batting practice in during that time. I think it affects them more, not so much hitting, but if they do happen to get on and running the bases, because they're not used to doing that.
Diaz takes a strike. Felipe Paulino bunted into a 1-6-3 double play as only time at the plate tonight. Diaz hit a ground ball to second his first time. That worked well here. 1-1. Huey, were you there when Nolan got charged at the mound?
Yeah, I was, Vic, and it was pretty funny because the story behind it, Nolan said he had been charged early in his career and it didn't do anything, and he said next time it happens, somebody charges, I'm going to have to go ahead and throw some punches, and that's why he got Ventura in the headlock and started, as he liked to say, give him the business.
I wish we had that footage, because if you look carefully, that's a strike. Jeff Houston is running in there from shortstop, and he's yelling at Ryan, and we have the audio too. He says, "Let me out."
Yeah, right. I figure he's much bigger than I am. He's got his under control. I'm good.
In fact, Huey had words tonight with Ventura. 1-2.
Yes, he
Did he go? Yep. See you later. That is the second strikeout of the ball game for Lyles. Diaza is dismissed, and that'll bring up Alexi Ramirez.
Pretty easy call on the check swing. He went around about 3/4 of the way. Yeah, that's one of those ones. Sometimes you don't even need help if you're the home plate umpire.
So Alexi Ramirez hit .303 against the National League in 107 ball games since escaping Cuba and joining the White Sox. This is pulled foul. Do you think there will ever be the same rules for both leagues? That from Steve. I hope not, because I'm a big fan of the fact that there's more strategy in the National League because the pitchers do hit. And the reason I say I hope not is it'll never go, the American League will never go the way of the National League, because there are too many designated hitters, quite frankly, making a lot of money. The Players Association will never go for it.
Yeah, but that player's still going to be replaced by somebody. I'm the opposite way. I think there should be rules, the same rules for both leagues.
I don't see it. Do you think it'll happen?
It won't happen, but I think it should, because I look at the other sports, and where there are two different sets of rules in the NBA between the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, or in football between the AFC and the NFC.
Yeah, but it takes away a job for a slugger. And if you look at the DH, the average salary for a DH, there's some big numbers. Look on the bench for right now for the for the White Sox. They have over 800 home runs on their bench, well closing in on 900 home runs between Paulie Konerko and Adam Dunn.
Yeah, but both of those guys came up playing first base.
But later on, they're still viable big league players because of the DH.
I hear what you say. Big Papi in Boston.
0-2, and it swung on and missed. Another strikeout. So Lyles gets Ramirez for the second out. It's a great question, though.
It is, because you can banter back and forth on the merits of each and every one of them. But that last pitch from Jordan Lyles, it just fell off the table to Alexi Ramirez. Another sharp curveball, and if there was any question whether he could throw that at altitude, well, it's been answered with the 2 or 3 that he's thrown tonight, where he hasn't overthrown him and just let the action of the ball take over.
Tyler Flowers walked his first time. He fell behind in the count initially. How's Chastain doing? Will he rehab in the Springs? Nate from Castle Rock. He's doing great. He's throwing all his pitches pain-free. He is right on schedule to be available later on this month, either late in April or the very first week of May. And whether or not he pitches in the Springs, I have no idea. Shattered bat to third. He's probably going to go, honestly, somewhere where the weather's good. And if that's Tulsa or on the West Coast to Modesto, he's going to go somewhere the weather is good. 3-0 Colorado. And Mark Stout from Coors Field as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Tulowitzki will lead it off. The day after every Rockies win, get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Tulowitzki, a walk in the first and a single in the third. He would move all the way around to third base before the inning stalled. Rockies fell to Arizona yesterday 5-3. Wade Miley, 8 outstanding innings, inducing 19 ground ball outs. Rockies rolled into 5 double plays yesterday. That ball's off the plate, ball 1.
You add in the 2 in the last inning. There's 21 ground ball outs of the 27.
One and one. It's just the third time in team history that the Rockies have grounded into 5 double plays in a game. 1 and 1 on Tulo. 1 and 2.
That's 88 pitches now for Paulino. He's also due up first next inning for the White Sox. So between those two numbers and the National League rules, it'll probably be it for him.
And another base hit. This one's going to run all the way to the wall. Tulowitzki will glide into second with a double. 6 for 14 now in his career against Paulino.
Or walked the first time and a line drive the second at bat on a slider. This time it was a fastball that Troy just hammered down the left field line for a double. Second double this season for Troy.
Morneau roped a single to right. His last time up. And then he works under this one. Diaz calling for it. He makes the catch.
Well, fans, Coors Field is available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Call 303 Rockies to book your next event at Coors Field.
Here's the baby bull. RBI infield single in the third. 1 for 2. He's about due to run into one, isn't he?
That pitch that he likes, whether it's away from him, he can hit it out to right center field. If you hang him a off-speed pitch and take it out to left field.
He's already established himself as one of the top offensive catchers in the game. The home runs and RBIs, more than 70 in each of his last 2 seasons. In fact, if you look up in the Rockies record book, most RBIs by a catcher in a season, the first 2 spots are occupied by the still very young Willeen Rosario. 3-0.
I give him the green light. 3-0, 76.
Jonathan Lucroy is kind of a late bloomer, but he has made himself a very good two-way catcher. Salvador Perez, the outstanding young catcher for the Royals.
See him in about a month.
There's a great piece in Sports Illustrated about the Molina brothers and their catching exploits. Growing up in Puerto Rico, and of course the best of the group, Yadier, who I think when his career's done, when you look at what he has accomplished defensively with great St. Louis teams and now the type of offensive player that he's become, he will put together a Hall of Fame resume.
Yes, he will. It's almost like that game, Name That Molina, between Jose and Benji. Their dad was a second baseman down in Puerto Rico, so he wasn't a guy that played behind the plate. He played second, but his sons have established the Molina name behind the plate.
And Arenado up with some more traffic. He struck out with the bases loaded last time. 2 on and 1 out. 4 walks by Paulino, and their dad was such an outstanding amateur player that he is in the Puerto Rican Baseball Hall of Fame. Our Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Rockies have had a player with 10+ total bases in a game 83 times in team history. It's happened in consecutive games 4 times, including Friday and Saturday, with Blackman and Arenado getting to double figures. Last season, Tulo and Cargo each had 10 total bases in the same game. That's a strike in Cincinnati. That was the game that Cargo hit 3 home runs.
I think all 3 of those home runs are still going. Those were fun to watch.
One and 2. And Nolan pulls it through the left side, a base hit. Tulo's going to stop at third. And the bases are loaded again for DJ LeMahieu.
Nolan grounded out in his second at bat, 5-3. This time he does it. He lowers the head down to get to that pitch. Connor Gillespie on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo is 2 feet away from making that play.
DJ line drive, base hit. That'll get 1 home. Everybody had to freeze to make sure that Simeon didn't make the catch. And here comes the Rockies' hottest hitter in the game, Jordan Lyles.
It was the right read from every single base runner because of the height of the baseball. He didn't know whether it would get over the top, and the pitch that's hurt the pitcher tonight. Paulino has been that slider. DJ just stays through the baseball, doesn't overpower it. And now Robin Ventura coming out, talking to the umpire first. That means it's going to be a double switch.
And how often do you do that when the opposition pitcher is coming up and you know he's going to hit? It's not like they're going to pull him out.
Right. No, it's just Robin said, I've had enough of Paulino and what's happening in this game. I don't want to give him a chance to go through here.
And also how Lyles has swung the bat, 2 sharp hits, a double and a single against Paulino. Rockies up 4-0. Out hit the White Sox 9-2. Jordan Lyles has been special on the mound tonight. He's been really special with the bat. RBI double in his first at bat against Felipe Paulino. And then his next time up, he stroked a single to right. And Robin Ventura said that's enough for Paulino. And he'll bring in Daniel Webb. And he double switches in the outfield as well. Diaza comes out of the ball game, and Diane Viciedo comes into the ball game.
It's something unique for Robin Ventura to come over and make the double switch. Viciedo goes to the outfield. Robin Ventura is telling the infielders how they want to play it. But Daniel Webb, fastball 96 to 98, 99 miles an hour, slider, changeup. Some people are talking about Daniel Webb being the closer of the future for the White Sox.
The Rockies will continue to go 90 feet at a time. That ball was hit so hard as well. How about Jordan Lyles? 2 RBIs tonight with a pair of singles and a double. And Webb, as you said, he's no soft tosser.
He doesn't care how hard he throws. I mean, this is just another nice swing from Jordan Lyles. He takes it back up the middle. 3 hits, obviously a career high for him. A couple RBIs. Just playing follow the leader on the bases.
Felipe Paulino saying, hey, Daniel, I told you, man, the dude's really good hitter.
He can swing the bat.
10 hits for the Rockies. Here's Blackman outside. Charlie has hit the ball hard a couple times tonight. Nothing to show for it. He's 0 for 3.
Have a night, Jordan.
Two and one. We want to thank everybody for texting in their questions during Toyota Talk. For more answers to your questions, visit the Root Sports Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM. Our game analyst will answer a bonus Toyota Talk question before the conclusion of this game. 2 and 1 on Charlie, bases loaded. Make it 3 and 1. Kadyr's on deck. Rockies up 5-0 on the White Sox.
And this is where, for Charlie Blackmon, 3-1 count. You know Kadyr's hitting behind you. Put that in the whatever strike zone you wanted. That little area where you know you can do some damage.
He can do damage with this. If it gets down, it will be cut off there by Viciedo. It'll work as a sac fly. Arenado scores 6-0 Colorado.
Has this just been a textbook inning or what? You lead off with Troy Tulowitzki, walk to Willeen, base hit from Nolan, DJ base hit, Lyles just single. It's not swinging for the fences. It's productive at bats.
This lineup, whether it's at Coors Field or not, should produce a number of headaches for the opposition. Cargo hoping for an opportunity. Kadir 0 for 2 and a walk. A run scored in the third for Michael. LeMahieu at second, Lyles at first. Inside ball 1. If you're curious, Doug's done a little research. Most hits in a game by a Rockies pitcher, 4. And it's not who you think it is.
You're saying it's not Hampton.
It's not Mike Hampton. John Thompson, Big Red, back in 1997, had 4 hits in a ball game. Jordan Lyles becomes the 11th pitcher for the Rockies to have a 3-hit game. The last guy to do it was almost was a little more than a year ago, or a little less than a year ago, I should say, Tyler Chatwood.
Speaking of Tyler, he'll make a rehab start tomorrow down in Round Rock. They were rained out tonight, so they'll play a doubleheader. Not sure which game he will have of that doubleheader.
Well, the irony is that, with that story, is that Chatwood, when he comes back, is probably going to replace Lyles in the rotation on the corner, 3 and 2.
But Jordan, you don't worry about those things. You just go out, take care of your own business, and let that old cliche, let the chips fall where they may.
3-2. Runners going outside, ball 4. And here comes Cargo with the bases full of Rockies. That old commercial right about now. Daniel Webb like to get on a Southwest flight out of town.
Yep. If you're Cargo, you know that that's what he wants to do. But back in the first inning, Carlos Gonzalez, slider. So he's talking about getting out of town quickly. That home run got out of the ballpark quickly.
Here we go. Cargo, the home run, fouled out to third, struck out swinging against Paulino. High fly ball left field, playable for Viciado. And he makes the catch. That ends a very productive 5th inning. The Rockies scored 3 times. They're up 6-0 at home.
If I were to create a band,
we gotta have Charlie Blackmon. We gotta have Charlie. I'm the drummer because I've got really good rhythm. Lead singer.
Willeen loves singing. He's not very good at it.
Nato always says, "Let's go." So we could just call it the "Let's Go Band."
Arenado does always say, "Let's go." You got to have Charlie be the lead singer because he's got the best walk-up tune when it comes to bat. You guys know the name of the song, right?
What is it, Mark?
Your Love. It's the, the Josie's on a Vacation, that one. But it's called Your Love by, and what's behind me? The band's name is The Outfield, and the album from like 1982 is called Play Deep. See, and that's a British band, by the way. They're not even American.
That's why I left it up to you, Mark, being the former DJ that you were.
Oh, I've played that song a million times.
Basically, that whole segment was to show up me and Huey.
No. Let's talk about Charlie Blackmon and the week he's been having. Player of the week and the best walk-up song.
Well,
Columbia Records too, by the way. That was the label.
Mark, have you ever spun a record by Ditch Rights?
I bought the Ditch Rights CD off of iTunes and gave the band members. I framed it, my purchase. Yeah, I like Ditch Rights.
You were the one, huh?
I was. Me and assorted other family members. I'm not family, but yeah.
2-0 on Viciato. Jordan Lyles with a 6-0 lead in the 6th, and that's a hit toward the gap. Charlie trying to cut it off, and it'll be a double. Ditch Rights, of course, the Root Sports house band. Mike Fox, Jim Armentrout. Foxy's is the drummer. That's right. And Johnny's the lead singer. Dale plays bass. It's the all Root Sports gang.
They didn't ask you to join.
You kidding me? Zero talent. Adam Eaton at the plate. Just the 3rd hit allowed by Lyles. Lyles came into this game 0-1 against the White Sox with a 7+ ERA. 2-0.
First time tonight that the White Sox have had a runner in scoring position. Rockies are 5 for 10.
The White Sox, who couldn't score at all last year, their first 4 games, they scored 26 runs this year, and then they cooled off in Kansas City. They did win yesterday 5-1 behind a masterful pitching performance from Chris Sale. Fortunately, and obviously, the Rockies will not have to face Chris Sale, the ace for the White Sox staff, and one of the better pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, brand new for the 2014 season. Make sure to visit the rooftop at Coors Field. Arrive early for pregame festivities and beer specials before first pitch. The rooftop is a place to be during baseball season. Call 303 Rockies for more information and to get your tickets to the rooftop.
Marcus Semien had the first hit for the White Sox. That came with 1 out in the 4th inning. He's playing second base right now because Gordon Beckham has no oblique injuries down the minor leagues, and he was shut down for a couple of days with that oblique injury on his rehab assignment.
He played 1 game and then felt it later on that night and the next day, so they had to shut him down. This is going to give Semien a chance to just play second base without any pressure behind him, because knowing Beckham with those rib cage, we talk about it, you can't rush those things, because that's when you'll tear it and then you're out for a longer period of time.
Yeah, Beckham remarked when he was sent out, it'll be just a week, and he wasn't trying to be cavalier about it. He's a young player, he wants to play, and he figures I'm going to heal quickly, but that is one of those injuries that, as you described, it can linger.
Kind of reminds me of a hamstring too. You think everything's good until you go out and you might feel it again. So you have to make sure that it's healed before you go.
We saw Semien just about a week and a half ago down in Scottsdale. Ball game we televised between the Rockies and White Sox at Salt River Field. It was warmer that day.
Yes, it was.
2-2, 1 out. Viciato's at second base. Shattered back, and DJ's got it, 2 outs. Boy, Lyles has pitched well.
Whenever he needs to make a pitch, he's done it.
2 outs. Jose Abreu with a runner at third. Auto glass damage, trust Safelite Auto Glass. Go online to safelite.com or call 303-287-5000. Abreu, a $68 million man, 6 years, $68 million. 27-year-old, played 10 years in Cuba. And a ground ball deep short. Tulo's got it. Jump throw. Out at first base. What a play by Tulowitzki to keep the White Sox with the bagel on the scoreboard. Well, Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by AT Rethink Possible, by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. Lower downtown Denver inside Coors Field, the Rockies 6 and the White Sox nothing. As we go to the bottom half of inning number 6, Jordan Lyles has been special throwing the baseball, which is what he is paid most notably to do, but swinging the bat, 3 for 3, 2 RBIs.
A little help from Troy last half inning to get out of that inning. That's 10 ground ball outs for Lyles. 5 flyouts, 3 strikeouts, but Troy, another magical play, the jump spin throw and the pick at first base from Morneau.
1-0 from Webb is in there, 1-1.
We'll go back to that play because we see it so often from Troy, but it never gets tired of watching this. And then the pick from Morneau to know where he wants to be on the bag to get the best angle.
High fly ball, deep right center field. Did Tulowitzki get it? Gone. Home run. First of the year for Tulowitzki. 7-0 Colorado. They've hit that magic number.
Troy takes a fastball that's down, more of the center cut of the plate. Elevates it. Garcia's going back and runs out of real estate. Garcia right at the wall thinks he has a chance to get this, but the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo illustrates how far away from his glove that ball actually was.
I just looked at the reaction of Hawk. The Troy Hawk, and started clapping, knew he didn't catch it. Home run number 123 for Tulowitzki. This is not going to be caught. It would land Marlins on top of the tarp. 7-0 Rockies. Well, when the Rockies score 7, everybody out there gets tacos. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Shift is on. Morneau is 1 for 3 tonight. Here's the 1-2 from Webb, and a good slider. He strikes him out. Here comes Rosario. Williams 1 for 2, an RBI infield hit, also a walk and a run scored.
Hustle single for Williams. That was the ball that had gone up the middle off the glove of Felipe Paulino. Legged out the single.
Good fastball at 95 at the knees from Webb. Strike 2. Petrichka is now tossing in the White Sox bullpen. And that's a nasty slider. 2 gone. Nolan Arenado coming up. Nolan a base hit his last time. He's 1 for 3. This Friday on Rockies Real Time, the day after the Rockies season ended in 2013, Coors Field began to transform. Throughout the offseason, workers battled the clock and the Colorado elements to build the biggest entertainment deck in all of sports. See how it all came together in time for opening day on Rockies Real Time, Friday after the game. If you've noticed, every hit that Stout has done since opening day on Friday has been from the rooftop. Just
coincidence?
Saying. I think not.
Just wants to make sure he gets a full view.
That's what he's selling.
That's what he's going with.
And Arenado pops it up, middle of the infield. Simeon calling, and he makes the catch. Troy Tulowitzki led off the bottom of the 6th with his first big fly of the year. Rockies 7 and the White Sox nothing. They've out hit the White Sox 11-3 as we go to the 7th inning. Connor Gillespie will lead off against Jordan Lyles, who's been sensational. Time for the AT fan photo of the game. Oh, man. How cute is that? He's fired up. His opening day.
Sweatshirt, the hat.
Yep, he was ready to go. Hey, tweet us your photo using the hashtag Rockies fan photo for a chance to be shown during an upcoming game. It's brought to you by AT&T. Gillespie 0 for 2. Robbed his last time up of extra bases and a ribby. And Charlie Blackmon chased down a long drive in deep right center field. This is the 5th time in Gillespie's career that he's batted cleanup. We were talking earlier about Paulie Konerko and Adam Dunn. The problem for Rob Ventura is with Jose Abreu, who plays first base, they have 3 first base DH types. So when they come to a National League park, it's very unlikely that Dunn and Konerko are going to get more than maybe a pinch hitting appearance.
And Konerko has a bat for that pinch hit appearance, as you mentioned, Drew, because the pitcher spot's 2 doors down. But there was some talk that they thought about playing Adam Dunn in left field, but they decided against it because it was Coors Field and it was too big of an area for him to go out there and try to cover. Paul Konerko, he's been a staple of this White Sox franchise in first base for 16 years. So they asked him before they signed Abreu, you know, how do you feel about this? You okay being a part-time player? I don't want to step on your toes. He said, yeah, where I am in my career, I understand.
Well, Konerko's announced this is it.
Yeah.
He's 38. One, 2, and that's fouled off. Now that Todd's retired, longest tenure with one team, active leaders. Derek Jeter had a double today against Ubaldo Jimenez in his final Yankee opening day, home opening day. And then Paulie Konerko. Jimmy Rollins been around a long time now. Big Papi, originally a twin. Chase Utley. Where the Phillies are starting to get long in the tooth, aren't they?
They are.
Ryan Howard at first base, well into his 30s. Former National League MVP.
Ruiz.
And Carlos Ruiz is into his 30s.
Mid-30s, 35, 36.
Two, and that's pulled foul. .85 pitches in what has been a terrific performance by Jordan Lyles.
Well, he's done what he needed to do. Go out and throw the sinker ball, get some ground ball outs. Helps when you have defense like this from Troy Tulowitzki. Oh, the double clutch.
That cost him.
Yeah.
And it would have been tough because Gillespie's coming out of the left side of the box, doesn't run badly. That'll be a base hit.
And some guys wouldn't even get to this ball. But the battle just gets into Troy's backhand and didn't get the transfer, and he wisely held on to that, because if you don't get the transfer, watch from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. He grabs it, and it's a change-up grip. See that? Change-up grip. Don't throw it. You need to have the 2 fingers on there to control the baseball. If you're going to throw it like a change-up, that ball will sail on you maybe into the dugout.
Abisail Garcia is 1 for 2.
Well, to a big guy, when you're trying to get that ground ball out, just throw it and keep it away from him, because he's looking just to pull the ball. You can bust him inside, keep him honest, and then work back away. And this is classic pitching. Fastball in, slider away, fastball in. Hitter doesn't know what's coming now.
Slowly hit up the middle. Should be 2. Tulowitzki safe. Just didn't quite get to Tulo in time. And Garcia, big man, runs pretty well.
He got down the line. He's legging it out the stretch from Morneau. He was safe. But when that ball hits the grass, the tendency is for it to slow down, and Troy just kept having to wait so he could catch it, step on the bag, and then clear himself.
Paul Konerko is going to be the pinch hitter. A little buzz in the crowd, knowledgeable fan base. Acknowledging the great career of Paul Konerko. Originally drafted by the LA Dodgers. Konerko swings through the slider. It's 0-1. He's 1 for 5 this year. Hitting the 240 range last year with a dozen home runs. Mark him down 25, 30 plus virtually every year during the heart of his career. That's a strike.
You mentioned Jeter retiring after this year. Konerko, baseball's losing 2 fine representatives of baseball. Konerko and Jeter. Not getting any better than those 2.
Nope. Now Konerko back out. Konerko has more home runs than anybody in interleague play, 58. Jason Giambi's next on that list with 51, then Pujols. This is active leaders in home runs.
Giambi still on the DL for Cleveland.
Dunn and Konerko, both with the White Sox. One, 2. Konerko has 12 20-plus home run seasons, which is 1 more than Frank Thomas, who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, or will get inducted officially this summer.
He'll be the 18th Chicago White Sox to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's 6 100 RBI seasons. That's second to the big hurt Frank Thomas, who had 10 100 ribby seasons. He got it. And Williams got a hustle. Can he get the out at first? No.
He's out anyway.
Yeah, you know where first base was occupied.
Yeah.
You're right. There's only 1 out. So Konerko ran, but there was no reason for the throw. The only time that would work is if there were 2 outs. Otherwise, first base has to be unoccupied. Call to the hall. A couple former White Sox. 1 on the field, 1 in the dugout. Tony La Russa going in, along with Frank Thomas. 307 lifetime average for the former Auburn football player.
Frank Thomas is going in with Glavine and Maddox. And for Tony La Russa, also going in with Bobby Cox and Joe Torre.
Great class.
So there'll be with this class, there'll be 306 inductees into the Hall of Fame.
Alexi Ramirez. Fly ball center field and a strikeout. And That's a base hit, and that'll drive in a run. So that'll break up the shutout. In fact, it'll be a double for Ramirez. Garcia scores 7-1.
Alexi Ramirez. He's more of a singles double hitter. Hit some home runs a few years back, but now it's more of a about 72% of the time just singles. This time he hits it down the line. The double for Ramirez, and Walt Weiss coming out to give Jordan Lyles an attaboy, because that's he's keeping him in. He's got the confidence in him. Say, hey, let's finish this inning off. I like this move.
Yeah, and Walt will do this. I like when managers, if they have a message or they want to look in your eye, rather than always sending the pitching coach. And Walt has implicit trust, obviously, in Jim Wright, but he wanted to look at Jordan's eyes. Say, can you get this guy? He's at 97 pitches. You've been terrific, and the answer was what Walt was looking for. And Adam Ottavino gets a stop sign.
Whoop, hold up.
He's 20 feet out there,
but until he signaled from the umpire,
he had to make the U-turn.
The umpire actually has to signal for the bullpen guy to come out. That's why you might be sitting at home going, well, he was already running out. Why isn't he in the game?
Ball one on Flowers. 2 outs in the 7th. 7-1 Colorado. Boy, he's had a good slider tonight, hasn't he?
He has. It's to complement the sinker ball pitch that he's also used it down into the zone. But he's just trusting the action of the ball. He's not trying to throw it too hard. And when you do that, those are the ones that get elevated and left up. Just the hangers.
Tried it again off the plate on pitch number 100. One on Flowers. This pitch is close, but as you look at the 4th strike zone, they're off the plate. And he lost him. And now Walt will make the trip again. Adam Ottavino will come into the game, you assume, with 2 on and Viciedo coming up. That's the 2nd walk. That's all allowed by Lyles. What a performance by Jordan on the hill and with the bat. Well done. Hearing it from the crowd as he walks off. Rockies ahead 7-1. Time for the Cooney Lexus look back. Jordan Lyles dominated the White Sox in the first 6 innings in particular. Strikeouts, ground balls, and everybody will be talking about Jordan Lyles with the bat. 3 for 3, 3 line drives. The double that scored a run, and his last AB, that single scored a run, so he's got 2 ribbies. Diane Viciedo is at the plate with 2 on and 2 outs in the 7th.
Might be the only fastball Viciedo sees this at bat for Adam. He likes that slider, and the other day he came in and gave up the double, then 3 straight punch outs.
And one of them was to Paul Goldschmidt, and the sequence he had against Goldschmidt was just terrific. He had Goldschmidt thinking slider, and the fastball would show up. Then he thought fastball, and the slider showed up.
Didn't he lock him up with the slider? He just,
and Goldschmidt is as good a hitter right now as there is in the game. Ottavino has been terrific in the early going, and he has moved into a role where I know Walt views him as a guy that, you know, tight situations on the plus side, he has a great deal of confidence in him.
Well, and that's what happens with pitchers in the bullpen when you go out there and game after game. You instill that confidence in the manager to start calling you into more pressure situations.
1 and 2. Got him on a slide. Dirty one. He was punching out a lot of guys. Jordan Lyles going to walk over and give him a high five. Lyles goes 6 2/3, gives up 1 run on 5 hits. Ottavino gets the final out of the 7th. Stretch time at Coors Field. Rockies 7 and the White Sox 1. Bottom of the 7th inning. Entered today in the 6th annual Boys and Girls Club of Metro Denver Dream House Raffle. It's your chance to win a $2.5 million Dream House worth $2 million in cash, and most importantly, help out a great cause with the Boys and Girls Club. Visit milehighraffle.com for more information. With Jeff Hewson and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. The only bummer for Jordan Lyles is he may have lost an opportunity to go 4 for 4. He's due up second this inning. Jake Petrichka is the new pitcher for the White Sox. Last year he made 16 appearances.
And just recalled recently when they had to put Nate Jones on the disabled list, so Jake getting another opportunity to show his stuff to Robin Ventura and the rest of the staff.
Nate Jones is their designated closer, but he's got a hip ailment, so he's down. Their closer their last 2 years, they traded to Arizona, Addison Reed.
We saw yesterday.
He was a big part of that Adam Eaton deal. DJ an RBI single in the 5th inning. 1 for 2 and a walk. The Rockies have scored in every inning in this game save the 4th. And in the 4th inning, they had a leadoff base hit from Jordan Lyles. A run in the 1st, a run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th, and then the home run last inning from Tulowitzki, a solo shot. Reminiscent of what they did Saturday night when they scored in every inning after the 3rd. And LeMahieu strikes out. Brandon Barnes is going to pinch hit for Ottavino.
Fans, MLB.TV Premium. That's the #1 live streaming sports service. It's celebrating 12 years. Join the million of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. You can watch Rockies games. Go online to Rockies.com to learn more about MLB.TV Premium.
Webb went an inning and 2/3 and gave up the 1 run, that solo home run. Felipe Paulino, 6 runs, all earned in 4 1/3, 9 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. This ball's lined, but it's right at Eaton. Barnes hit it well, 2 outs. The leadoff man, Charlie Blackmon, ground ball to first, a scorching line drive to deep center field that Adam Eaton made a terrific play on. Fly ball left field, and then a sac fly to left field. Line drive to left center field. He hit that ball hard also. Charlie, if you missed it, named co-National League Player of the Week with Jose Fernandez of the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, for Fernandez, he was 2-0 with 17 strikeouts and a .71 ERA.
He's going to be a candidate a few more times, I think, this year. And Charlie has now won 2 of the last 3 awards, because the second to final week of the season last September, Charlie Blackmon was the National League Player of the Week. And Charlie hits it on the ground to first. Abreu's got it, and it's a 1-2-3 7th inning for Petrichka. Rockies up by 6 runs as we go to the 8th.
Want to do a little this day in baseball history. It was back in 1969 on this day that the season started, and it was in 1969 when the save became an official stat. Well, the first save was on April 7th, 1969. Bill Singer went 3 innings in relief of Don Drysdale. That was in Cincinnati. Got the 3-inning save. Now, he only had 2 saves in his entire career. But when you look at saves, Frankie Rodriguez, he had the most in one season. Bobby Thigpen is here, guys, as part of the White Sox coaching staff. He had 57 in 1990. And, of course, our colleague George Frazier had 29 in his career, and he had at least a save for all 5 teams he pitched for.
All right, Mark, here's a trivia question for you. Bobby Thigpen hit in the middle of a lineup at Mississippi State University for Ron Polk. Who were the guys that hit in the middle of that lineup with him? There were 2 guys who had very notable big league careers.
You guys have talked about that Mississippi State alum and team before.
One was a first baseman, Mark.
And he hit more than 500 home runs. Actually, both were first basemen.
500 home run guy?
Yeah, yes. Both were first basemen.
Well, while you think about that for a second, we'll talk about Chad Bettis. Last season, 16 games. This is more of a role for him where he's just asked to come in for 1, maybe 1+ innings. Some of those games last year were starts for Chad.
And Mark, if you don't get it right, you have to buy us all Helton burgers.
One's Palmeiro, right?
Rafael Palmeiro's 1.
Yeah.
These guys were interchangeable for a few years. They flip-flop teams.
True.
Same position.
Line drive, and Charlie Culberson is coming to the ballgame at shortstop for Tulowitzki. 2 outs.
Interchangeable first baseman.
Yes.
What team? Texas? Baltimore?
Yes.
Seattle?
Yes.
San Francisco Giants.
When they were interchangeable.
Cisco.
Will.
He had a great career.
Oh, Will the Thrill.
Will
Clark.
Will the Thrill.
We didn't have much time left, Mark. I had to give you a hint.
We wanted you to answer it. You had to answer it before tomorrow's pregame show. 2 outs. Jose Abreu's 0 for 3.
Another little this date in history for the White Sox. Jack Morris threw a no-hitter against the White Sox back in 1984.
That was the year Jack Morris and the Tigers won the World Series after starting 35-5. This is slowly hit. Arenado comes and gets it on the move. Low throw. No problem for Morneau. Boy, he has been as advertised with that glove here in the opening few days of the 2014 season. Unofficially, I think that's the 5th time he has dug a ball out of the dirt. Nicely done by Justin. 7-1 Rockies. schedule. It's brought to you by CenturyLink. Link to what's next. The Rockies have a couple more ball games with the White Sox. Thursday's an off day, travel day in fact. And then 3 on the West Coast, 7 on the West Coast, 3 against the Giants. I meant to say 4 against the Padres before the Rockies get back to 20th of Blake against the Phillies and the Giants. Michael Kadire, Carlos Gonzalez, Charlie Culberson against Jake Petrichka here in the 8th inning. Don't know why Tulowitzki left the game. It could just be, game's lopsided. It's a cold night. A couple innings left to go.
Nice to get Charlie in the game. A couple innings on defense.
Ball roped and fair down the left field line. Michael Kadire digging to second. He'll have a double. It's his first hit of the ball game. He's now 1 for 3 with a pair of walks, and he has an 8-game hitting streak to match Cargo's 8-game hitting streak to begin 2014.
Well, and for Kadire, this is part of using the whole field. But just look at where that contact point is. Look at this back elbow, how it's right close to the body, because you have to pull your hands in. If you want to get the barrel to that ball on that pitch, just watch it drop into place, and then the head following the barrel of the bat down through contact.
Back up the middle, base hit. Kadire will get a stop sign, and Cargo has his second hit of the ball game. Alexi Ramirez was 1 step away from that baseball. That's where he was positioned. It was hit so hard. And Alexi's got a lot of range. He still couldn't get to it.
No, because of Carlos Gonzalez. He waited, and this almost hit Petrichka back up the middle. Well, Alexi Ramirez, not even a dive for that ball because it was hit so hard.
Charlie Culberson. Getting his first AB. Tulo had a big day offensively. Walk, single, double, home run. Actually, Dougie just reminded me that Kadire has a 9-game hitting streak because he got a hit in the final game of 2013.
It's like Goldschmidt's carrying over from last year to this year.
That's right. And he got to 26 games before it ended on Saturday against the Rockies. And Kadire has the longest hitting streak in Rockies history with the 27-gamer last year. Two-strike count on Culberson. First and third, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th. Petrichka fans Culberson 1 out.
Dollar hot dogs are back this year for the 2014 season. First 10,000 fans tomorrow will receive a coupon for 1. Get your tickets now for Dollar Hot Dog, brought to you by Hebrew National.
Justin Morneau, 1 for 4, single back in the 3rd inning.
The Rockies came into this game at a 304 clip with runners in scoring position, which was 6th in the major leagues. Tonight, they're going to raise that average. They're 6 for 12, and a chance to do some more damage.
Here's the 1-0. Down low, 2-0 on Morneau, who has 864 career RBIs, 21st on the all-time list. Matt Belisle is up in the Rockies bullpen. Looks like he'll handle the ninth. Ground ball chopped through the second baseman, Simeon. And a run scores, obviously, 8-1. Morneau will get an RBI on the error because you can't assume a double play. So it'll be an E4 RBI for Morneau, 8-1 Colorado.
The top spin. This is a double play ball, but Simeon lets the ball play him. I'll take it from the side. Look at where his glove is compared to his eyes. His glove is behind the eyes. The glove should be out in this area right here, but he has it behind him, so he loses at the last foot and a half to track the baseball.
Rosario up. 1 for 3 and a walk. RBI single in the third for Willeen. And congratulations to the Connecticut Huskies. UConn's done it again. 4th time since '99 they've captured the national championship. 60-54 over Kentucky. 7 seed beating an 8 seed. This is double play ball. And it's nicely handled by Gillespie. He goes 5-3. In the inning, another run for the Rockies. They're up 8-1, looking for 3 more outs. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com and by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. Rockies just need outs 25, 26, and 27 to shake hands. They're up 8-1 in the 9th inning as we go to center field, and Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
Hey, Drew, it'd be great for the Rockies to notch their first interleague play in their first interleague game. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, George Frazier, Ryan Spilborghs. They'll join me here at the desk. We're going to talk a little Jordan Lyles, all smiles. Because not only is he in line with his 2nd win in a Colorado Rockies uniform, he pitched into the 7th, got a standing ovation, probably more for his offense, though. 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Very impressive from a pitcher. And then the stars aligned in the game today. We're talking about Tulo and Cargo getting homers in the same game. Congratulations to Troy Tulowitzki, home run number 1 of the 2014 season. Plenty more expected from number 2. And guys, I'm going to send it back to you with, I'm just going to congratulate Jeff Houston. He was a UConn fan. His son goes to UConn, and my family were very big Kentucky Wildcat fans. This is a sad day, but hey, we made it all the way to the title game.
Yeah,
so,
you still have to buy me dinner on the road next time.
Oh, was that? Did we really shake hands on that?
Yes,
I thought it was just for fun.
I saw it. I witnessed it, and you said, Drew, you take UConn, and we'll buy you dinner also.
No, you were definitely not in that bad, but thanks for trying.
Well, it's the least I could do. All right, Jenny, we'll talk to you as soon as Matt Belisle gets the last 3 outs. Be the 4th ball game for Matt Belisle, and he'll face Connor Gillespie initially here in the 9th inning. Gillespie 1 for 3. Yeah, this has been Jordan Lyles' night.
Yes, it has. I mean, for Jordan Lyles, 6 2/3 innings, just 5 hits given up. He also had 3 knocks and a couple RBIs. So for Jordan Lyles, It's a big tip of the cap. Matt Belisle trying to get back on track.
And the line drive caught by Culberson. Nice play. 1 out.
The ball wasn't hit particularly hard, but when it's starting to come back to you because it's hit off the bat of the left-hander, you don't know how far you have to reach out for your glove, so you'll end up sliding to give yourself a better look at the baseball.
1 out. Avi Garcia. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Belisle gets a swinging strike on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Franklin Morales will go tomorrow for the Rockies. He was in that battle during spring training for the final spot in the rotation with Jordan Lyles, and he won that spot. Lyles took the place of Chatwood. Nice running catch by Cargo. That's why you got to have 2 center fielders. Why that man, for me, is the best left fielder in the game.
I'm talking to some White Sox people today, and they were interested. They were happy to get a look at Carlos Gonzalez because you hear so many things about him, what he can do. He can hit the home run like we saw in the first inning, but Gold Glove left fielder, and makes plays look easy when they're really not. And the jump he got on that baseball, the range factor.
I point to the play he made, Huey, against Giancarlo Stanton, and he'll have another play right here to end the game. We'll talk about that Stanton play another time. Rockies win it tonight 8-1. Wonderful performance on the hill and with the bat for Jordan Lyles. He improves to 2-0. The former Rocky Felipe Paulino takes the loss. He is 0-1. The Rockies improve their record to 4-4 on the campaign, and the White Sox fall to 3-4. Cargo, couple hits, including a home run tonight. Tulowitzki had 3 hits, got his first home run of the year. A good night all the way around at 20th and Blake. Now let's get out to center field. Jenny, Spilly, and Georgie are standing by.
Thanks, Drew, very much. Looking forward to a post-game show. Can we have high fives?
Yes.
They can high five. We can high five, right? Had to get George going. Coming up at the Toyota post-game show, plenty to talk about. The 3rd win for the Rockies this homestand. They did it interleague style tonight as Colorado wins 8-1.